We're centered in God. We celebrate a world of harmony, peace, and abundance for all. Please join us on this great Bob Marley classic. She gives us. Let's work together and feel alright. Believe me, one love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. As it was in the beginning, one love, so it shall be in the end. One heart. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel. Still celebrating Black History Month around here, and so we're gonna do a tune, strangely enough, from Kool and the Gang.
Yeah.
It wasn't all just about celebrate good times, you know. Simple now. Cherish the love we have. We should cherish the life we live. Cherish the love. Cherish the life. Cherish the love. Good, you got it. Cherish the love.
Good morning, Columbine, and we certainly cherish all of you, and we want to start by lighting our candle and then praying us in. And I invite you to light a candle at your own home or from wherever you're watching, and allow this to be sacred time for yourself. So let's take a deep breath together. And gently close your eyes. Come into that space of cherishing the love, of cherishing the life that we have been given. Because the life that we have been given is a gift. No matter what part of life we might be in, no matter the ups, the downs, the positive, the seemingly negative, that all of life, the whole journey is meant to be cherished, is meant to be an expression of love. And so we thank you, sweet Spirit, for this day, for this beautiful sunshine here in Colorado, for this opportunity for us to come together as a community, for the technology that allows us to be in many places all at the same time. We are grateful. We are grateful. And so we hold those who are suffering in our prayers, those who are challenged during this pandemic, those in Texas and other parts of the country that are experiencing power outages and lack of heat. We hold them in the warmth of our hearts. We hold everyone on our prayer list in our prayers that, yes, life can be challenging and it can seem very unfair, and yet God is there. Spirit is here with us, no matter what we're going through. If we would just turn the other cheek, if we would just change our perception and look and listen, that Spirit is whispering to us, love, love more, love with all that you have, love with all that you are, because we are that. And thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
It is such an honor to welcome back to Columbine Spiritual Center our very own Marcy Baruch. It's been a little bit, and we're so excited about this music that she's going to share with you.
Thank you, Janice. It's so good to be here. It's so good to be with all of you here in the building, just a very few, and here watching live or whenever you get a chance to partake. This is Carry On. And whatever is happening in our lives, we are just carrying on in this spirit. 1, 2, 3, 4. Carry on, treading softly as you go. Carry on, knowing all that you know. Carry on with the confidence of the stars above, for you were born in the radiance of love. Carry on in the joy of
Marcy Baruch, everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So beautiful, Marcy. Thank you. So glad to have you here. I just read an article this week. There was a mom who went in to wake her son up on a Sunday morning. Maybe you can relate. She said, "Son, it's time to wake up. It's Sunday. You got to go to church." And he's like pulling the covers over his head. "I don't want to go to church." And she said, "Oh, come on, son. It's your destiny. You need to go to church." And he said, "I don't want to go to church. Everybody hates me. The sermons are boring, and none of my friends ever show up." And she said, "Oh, son, now first of all, not everybody hates you. Maybe there's a few meanies, and you just need to stand up to them. And, you know, if you just would listen to the sermons, I bet you would really realize that there's a lot of good in them, and people are really responding to them, and they're helping a lot of people." And she said, "And, you know, you have a lot of friends that are at church. If you would just go and show up, you'd see that." And he says, "But I don't want to go." She says, "But it's your destiny. You're the minister." So I kind of gave it away there when I said your sermons, but I could so relate to that some days. Just want to pull the covers over the head and say, "No, I don't want to go." But hopefully you don't feel that way. But I share that because, you know, life has its good days and it has its not so good days, and it's all about how we look at them, and it's all about our attitude. And so this week in our 6-week group study, small group program that we're doing with Elizabeth Lesser's book, Broken Open, we're starting this section on the phoenix process, which, of course, the phoenix is this mythical bird that has been in many cultures, has been talked about in many, many cultures going back to ancient times, but this mythical bird that rises from the ashes. That depending on which culture you're reading, either every 500 years or every 1,000 years, this bird dies and is reduced to ashes, but then rises up into new life, into a new way of being. Elizabeth Lesser has some very powerful stories in this section of the book. Powerful stories about people who have been through very traumatic events. We have a woman who lived through the concentration camps during World War II. We have a woman who was diagnosed with MS just right after she had her second child born, who was born with brain damage and epilepsy. We have Ram Dass, story of Ram Dass after his stroke. And then we have a father who lost one of his sons who was 21 in a motorcycle accident in New Zealand. Very traumatic experiences, and how these people worked through them, rose up through the ashes, and found a new way of being. But it doesn't have to be, Elizabeth talks about how it doesn't have to be a very traumatic experience for us to transform our lives, for us to rise through the ashes. She says this on page 56. "The most momentous situation has the power to transform one's life, but so do less traumatic events. It's all in the way we approach the changing nature of life. It's all in the courage to say yes to whatever comes our way. It's in the way we listen for the messages in the flames and dig for the treasure in the ashes." You know, good can come from any situation if we choose. If we choose to see it from that perspective, if we choose to look for the good, look for the blessing. I'm not belittling the suffering or the pain by any means, but those messages in the flames can be found if we're willing to do the work, if we're willing to break ourselves open, and willing enough to see and rise through the ashes, if we're willing to acknowledge the fierce grace of God that grace of God is always available to us, and sometimes it's kind and gentle, and other times it's in the fierce situations. Louise Hay says something about we have to learn to honor the entirety of our journey, that we came here as human beings to this earth place to experience all of it. And that includes the challenging bits as well as the happier bits. So I've been working with a story from the Hebrew Scriptures, and this is the story in the book of Ezekiel. Now, Ezekiel was a prophet who was exiled from Judah into Babylonian. And in the 37th chapter, he sees visions. He's a prophet. He sees visions. And in the 37th chapter, he talks about this vision that he had. And as I'm working with this story this week, this song has been stuck in my head. Janice, I asked Janice to help me out with it so you don't have to hear me sing it.
Ezekiel saw them dry bones. Ezekiel saw them dry bones. Ezekiel saw them dry bones. Now hear the word of the Lord.
Yeah. So probably all of you are going, what? Well, thanks, Sue. Now it's stuck in my head that those bones, them dry bones. But this is a really rich story, this 37th chapter of Ezekiel, for metaphysical interpretation. And it so applies to our reading for this week, this phoenix process. It starts out with Ezekiel being in a valley, and Spirit, God, is there with him. And all around him, he sees these bones. And these bones are scattered all throughout the valley. Everywhere he looks, there's bones. But then that's it. And so, again, God or Spirit speaks to Ezekiel and says, now prophesy to the winds, to all four winds. And he starts prophesying to all four winds, and the bones come to life, that they have been renewed to a new way of life. And so you might read that and go, what? What the heck does that mean? Well, it's so appropriate if we look at it metaphysically to our lives. We all have valley days, valley times, valley moments in our lives. When we're in a valley, it's the challenging times of our lives as opposed to being in the mountains. In the valley, we're in the dumps. We're in the doldrums of life, the challenges. And these bones that Ezekiel sees all around him scattered, dry bones, especially very dry, brittle, represent those disappointments, those challenging events, those situations in our lives where we just feel a lot of discouragement, a lot of disappointment. And when God says to Ezekiel, prophesy, he means speak words of affirmation. Speak words of truth. Speak words of truth to these despairing, disappointing events in your lives. Look for the truth. What is the truth in these situations? That God is there. The Spirit is still with us, that all is not lost, because dry bones, while they represent disappointments and challenging situations, also in every challenging situation is opportunity, is potential. And so Ezekiel is speaking words of truth to that potential. That potential can rise up, that the potential can make itself known. And so as he's speaking these words of affirmation to these dry bones, they start moving. There's movement. They're shaking, they're rattling, they're connecting. And what happens when these things in our lives start connecting? We start understanding how these situations can help us grow. How these situations are all meant to help us learn, help us grow, help us to evolve. But our affirmations to the bones, to the situations, can only take us so far. And so God says, now prophesy to the winds. The four winds, meaning any direction, north, east, south, west. Speak words of truth that God's wisdom, God's goodness, that the inherent good in this situation be known. And that possibility, those ideas can come from any direction, any medium, any place. We get our guidance from maybe in meditation, but also maybe from other people, maybe from a song we just heard, maybe from a conversation we're having with someone, maybe something we see on TV or hear on the radio. Guidance can come from anywhere. But we have to be open that it can come from anywhere. We have to be open to spirit, that the wind is that activity of spirit. It's that Holy Spirit. And be open that those ideas are going to come from any direction. Then there's new life. Then we can rise from the ashes. Then we are hearing the word of the Lord, that Lord within us, that divine essence within us saying, this way, try this. You know, Jesus said on the cross, why have you forsaken me? We all have moments like that where we feel all alone, where we feel that spirit is not there. Why is this happening to me? We're looking all around and seeing dry bones scattered. We're scattered. Our thoughts are scattered. God, why have you forsaken me? But spirit doesn't forsake us. It's us that turns away from spirit, from our own spiritual nature. And so I love this story of Ezekiel with the dry bones because it reminds us that speak those words of affirmation. Look for truth. Look for the blessing in every situation. And then we can acknowledge that fierce grace of God. That fierce grace of God is there in every situation. Always available to us. Elizabeth Lesser says this on page 63 of Broken Open: when you choose to learn and to grow from the weight of the world, from the dry bones of the world, you are putting your soul in charge of your life. You are choosing not the attitude of your smaller and more fearful self, but rather the attitude of the soul, which is hopeful, expansive, and eternal. You are living for the deeper truth hidden in the pain of circumstance. Your soul's lessons packed in your chimichimuk. I'm sorry, that word has been stumping me. Chimichimuk. Be aware that when you are in a valley of your own chimichimuk, that you are here to look at that. Chimichimuk is one of the chapters in this week's reading, and it's about the baggage that we carry. It's about the burdens that we carry around with us, and that each of us is responsible for our own, not for anyone else's. We can't move anyone else's. We can't fix anyone else's chimichimuk. I think I'm saying that word right. I spent way too much time trying to figure out how to pronounce that. But we can't fix anyone else. We have to take care of our own baggage, our own burdens, our own dry bones, if you will. We can't just throw it out the window either. We have to work through it. We have to unpack it. What's in your Tomita chick? What baggage are you carrying around? We can feel a whole lot lighter when we're able to release it. You know, we can grow then. We can evolve when we're not weighed down with the challenges of life, or we're not seeing life as such heavy burden, heavy challenge. If you watched my preview, my little talk preview on Facebook or YouTube this week, I talked about how the evidence of life, one of the elements of evidence of life, any life, is that an organism can grow and change and evolve. But how many times do we resist that change, resist that growth? We're comfortable the way we are, thank you very much. We don't want to change or grow. But sometimes life has a way of just kind of bringing it on for us. Things happen. And we find ourselves in situations that are challenging, that are disappointing, that are sad. This is our opportunity to break wide open, to work through it, not to push it aside, not to ignore it, but to work through it. It's just like a seed. And when seeds are planted in the ground, seeds actually don't even have to be planted in the ground to grow, but seeds are alive. They're live organisms, and they change, and they grow, and they evolve when conditions are right, or when they're triggered. They start growing roots. They have to break wide open for life to come through the seed. And then they can sprout a stem and push through that darkness to the light. They move towards the sun, just as we move towards the sun, towards the light. And what happens is when that blossom, that bloom comes about, the seed never even sees it. Just like we don't see our own glorious self when we're in full bloom. When we're in the darkness, we can't see how glorious we can be when we work through that darkness, when we rise through the ashes, when we acknowledge that fierce grace of God is with us, always with us. The darkness never lasts forever. That this entire journey of life has its ups and downs. Elizabeth Lesser says this too shall pass. Everything passes and changes and turns into something you would never have imagined if you will only let it. If you only let it. And so that's our choice. I was reading an interview that Michelle Obama did with Amanda Gorman. And Michelle Obama said to Amanda, you know, your generation has been right out in front, and they're not afraid to stand up to things that they see as unjust. And Amanda replied with saying that she saw Black Lives Matter banner that says, you may have buried us, but you didn't know we were seeds. And what happens with those seeds? They will sprout new life. They have the ability to come back up, to rise through the darkness. We often hold our despair, our own victimhood. We hold on to it, not realizing that we're seeds, that we're pure potential, that there's always the opportunity for new life, for a new way of being. Last Saturday, I did a workshop with David Alt. David is a Center for Spiritual Living minister. He attended did a keynote speech at one of our regional conventions, and I just love the way he puts things. And he did a workshop called The Worth Work. And I thought, oh, well, that's really good for me, the worth work, since that's something that I tend to get triggered over, not feeling worthy. And he talked about the 6-second theory, that we often hang on to something that took 6 seconds for someone to say to us years and years ago. And we hang on to it and we build our whole belief system around it. And we fail to see our own worth. He said our inherent worth, and we have inherent worth, each one of us has inherent worth, can be domesticated, meaning it can let external forces, external events and situations and people push it down, not let it rise up, our worth. It can get covered over. And I was thinking, because it's Lent now, Ash Wednesday was this past Wednesday, I was thinking about how I've done that in my life, how my inherent worth has been covered over, or how I've let it be covered over. And I was thinking about Ash Wednesday and getting ashes on my forehead, and I was a good Catholic for 40 years and would always go to Mass on Ash Wednesday. And when the priest puts ashes on your forehead, he says, "Remember, you are dust, and unto dust you shall return." And yes, that may be true. And without any disrespect to the Catholic Church, I have a lot of respect for it, we are a whole lot more than that. I think that's a 6-second event, less than 6 seconds, and how I've hung on to that for so long. Lent in unity is not about giving up, sacrificing things that we enjoy. It's about letting go of things that no longer serve us. I love Lent in unity. We have an opportunity to rise through the ashes, to let go of those things, to die to those things that no longer serve us, and to have new life, just as the stories in the book, just as the people in the stories were able to do, to work through a challenging situation and rise above it and have a whole new life as a result. Each week, we have if you like to following along, we have these in the bookstore. This is the Lenten booklet for this year, Release and Renew. So it's not just about releasing, it's also renewing. And this year, they have a living word of the week. And so each week of Lent, they have a living word, and there's 7 of them. And they come from words that last words of Jesus on the cross. And this week, the word is forgiveness. Now, we did a whole series on forgiveness in the fall. But I think it's important to remember that in this worth work, in this rising through the ashes, in this looking at the dry bones of our lives, to forgive ourselves. To forgive ourselves from wherever we are, whatever situation we find ourselves in, to let ourselves off the hook. In honor of Black History Month, this week I watched a movie called Princess of the Row. It's not based on a true story, but it could have been. It could certainly be the story of many people. There's a young black girl, she's 12 years old, and her dad, and she's in foster care. Her mom left when she was young, and her dad was in Iraq in the military and suffered brain damage and extreme PTSD. And he lived on Skid Row in Los Angeles. And this young girl, Alicia, would run away from her foster homes multiple times to be with her dad. She just wanted to take care of her dad. She just wanted to be with her dad, the only family she had left. And so she would keep running away from her foster family. And her dad didn't always know who she was. He didn't always respond to her. Every once in a while, he'd have a lucid moment, and she would just hang on to those moments, and then they'd be gone. And in one of those lucid moments, she's sleeping, and he wakes her up, and he calls her princess. And he says, "One day, princess, you're going to choose a different dream, and you're going to have to let me go. And I'm okay with that. I'll be fine." And that's as long as it lasts. A few scenes later, you see her social care worker talking to her as she's dropping her off yet again at a foster family. And she says, "Strong, resilient, loving, stubborn, creative. This is what you are. This is what you are made of. And the world wants you to forget it. Don't." It's a very touching part of the movie, and those words resonated with her. They touched her heart, young Alicia's heart. And I won't tell you the rest of the story because it's very moving, and I hope you'll watch it. But it transformed her. She rose through the ashes. She recognized that she was living in this fierce grace of God, and she was ready for the good grace of God. You are strong, resilient, loving, maybe stubborn, and creative. And the world wants you to forget that. But don't. Don't. Remember who you are. Elizabeth Lesser says on page 77, "Behind everyone's learned behaviors and odd eccentricities lurks a soul, ready to make contact if only coaxed out through a crack in the ego. Would that it take something less than fierce grace to break us open." Are you willing to acknowledge the fierce grace of God? That the Chemichindunk, I don't know if I'm saying it right again, that your burdens are carrying lessons for you. That those dry bones, you can bring new life to that pure potential within you. She says on page 83, "We came to understand that although we do not have control, we do have choice. We can choose darkness, fear, addiction, and despair. We can choose light, hope, meaning, and joy." It's our choice. It's our choice. I hope you choose light and meaning and joy. Let's move into a time of meditation. I invite you to Allow yourself to quiet your mind, to hear the word of the Lord, to acknowledge that fierce grace of God. So as you focus on your breath, breathing in and breathing out, know that that grace of God is always there. Hear the word of the Lord. Hear the truth of your divine being, your divine essence that is longing for you to choose joy, to choose hope, to choose love. Hear the word of the Lord and acknowledge that fierce grace of God in your life. Let's hold that in the silence for a few moments.
Deepest indwelling presence, deepest indwelling presence, deepest indwelling presence, I receive, I receive. being, only one being, only one being, only one being, only being, only one. The Spirit is wholly given. The Spirit is wholly given. Oh, the Spirit is wholly given. I receive. I receive. The Spirit is wholly given. The Spirit is wholly given. The Spirit is wholly given. I receive. I receive. Oh, breathe in me, holy breath of life. Breathe in me, holy breath of life. Breathe in me, holy breath of life. I receive. I receive. Being, only one being, only one being. Oh, being, only one being, only one being, only one. Deepest indwelling presence. Deepest indwelling presence. Deepest indwelling presence. I receive. I receive.
That's Marcy Baruch, everyone. So good to have you with us, sister.
It's the sound of an angel. Absolutely. Every time you sing, it's incredible. Thank you. My name is Rachel. I am the Director of Community Care here at Columbine. And it is our time in a service where we so gratefully receive your offerings and your love offerings and your donations. And as we continue to do this amazing work of transformation. And you can either go to our website, columbineunity.org, and there's a donate button, or right with your cell phone right now, text 720-902-9998 and press and type in give, and it goes right there.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. It's so easy.
I remember the days of the telephone or the telethon, and everybody would have to be sitting there at the desk
Yes.
going, yes, yes. It's so easy now.
I find myself, even though I'm on automatic giving, when I'm at home, I still text to give because I can't help it. So let's all do that.
Game.
So let's say our offertory blessing together. God's love has always met and will always meet all my needs. I give freely, I receive abundantly, and I am grateful. So we've been planning this outdoor Sunday of Love now, and when we got the weather for this week, we were like, we're doing it. This is gonna happen, and you betcha it's happening. Normally there's no cars out there. You can totally see there's all these cars out there now, and there's a whole flutter of stuff happening out on the patio. We are gonna have the service. It's gorgeous outside. The sun is shining. It's blue. It's warm. There's no snow on the patio, and we are excited to have everybody come at 12:30, and then have our Sunday of Love party with our fire pits, and everybody that signed up has special goodie bags, and Janice made a million gluten-free cookies, and Scott made a million sugar cookies, and so you better come down here and get those things, because we made them. No, I'm just kidding. It was really fun. We had such a good time being together in the building, putting together these Valentines, and it just reminded us how, oh my gosh, how much we love you and how much we miss you and how good it felt to put all those things together. So we're going to have this beautiful Sunday of Love on this gorgeous Colorado winter day, and we're looking forward to it.
Yep.
So if you
Little bit
signed
of
up,
shorter
come on down.
service. You can come on down a little
Yep.
bit.
And let's say
little
you
bit
didn't
shorter.
sign up. Come anyway.
Come anyway.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And let's see, what else do we have? Okay, so we did the poll, and the resounding result was that the 6:30 and 8 in the morning was not as popular as the 12:30. So we'll have a 12 on Easter, followed by a brunch, and there will be registration soon in the e-bulletins and in the updates, and we hope that you'll join us outside,
Right now,
live.
the forecast is for 61
Ooh.
and sunny on Easter Sunday. So we could
Janice
will
is
it.
also our weather woman. If she just had like the green screen, I swear it's so cute in our staff meetings. She's the one that does the weather. So that's exciting. So let's hold for that. And then let's say you're not going to come today, but you would like some fellowship. Please go to the e-bulletin that came out today and press the link, and at 12:15 there's a group of people that get together and just visit after the service and have time together, and they would love to have as many people attend as they can. We can have up to 100 on our account, so you could keep going. So we just are so blessed that we have that group that gets together. So even if you can't come today, Zeloship. And that's it. That's all the announcements we have today.
So we just invite you to hold the hand of anybody that's with you in your living room, or imagine that you're holding our hands as we sing our peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. See you soon.